Harry Potter took his manuscript to 12 publishers who all rejected it. A little known publisher, nobody already know them, Bloomsbury, took a chance with it. And the book exploded into popularity. It became a global phenomenon and turned into a billion-dollar franchise, a best-selling series, a major cultural milestone. Reggae music, in its early days, was rejected by the Jamaican population, by most of the Jamaican population, largely so because of where it was originated, in Trenchtown, Jamaica. Usain Bolt coach told him that he was too tall to run the 100 and 200 meters. That is high school coach. And so he started running the 400 meters. But then the rest is history. Christopher Gale was dropped from Jamaican youth teams because they said his technique was poor. He turned out to be one of the last of the legendary West Indies cricketers. I am not here saying that Kavem Hodge's story will end this way in which he becomes a legendary West Indies cricketer. Although I hope so. I hope so for every West Indies cricketers that they will become legendary. Because if they do, you and I will be very happy. But Kavem Hodge should never have been left out of the West Indies cricket squad in the very first place. Hello everyone, welcome to the #1 cricket channel in the Caribbean. I thank you for being here. I really appreciate your company and I apologize for not being on camera. I apologize for the late start of this show, which is almost 2 days late, 2 hours less 2 days late. And I apologize. There are mitigating circumstances, and those are the things that happen. Today's show is brought to you by M&M Chocolates. Scan the QR code or click the link in the video description. Use the code FIREWORK and get 20% discount when you buy M&M chocolates today by clicking the link in the video description or scanning the QR code on the screen. One of the characteristics of coaches is that coaches are very confident. They believe in their own ability. They believe that they can do things and get the best out of players. They have their own ideas. So even when a player is not performing under another coach, there are coaches that are looking on and are saying that we can do a better job. And when you consider that Darren Sammy is the greatest coach of all times, you will understand that his ego is huge. And therefore, he's going to have his own ideas. He's going to come with things that he thinks that is the right way. Unfortunately for Darren Sammy, he's a factory that is producing blunders after blunders and mistakes after mistakes. The West Indies squad, most of you would have known by now that have been selected to play against New Zealand, see Roston Chase as captain. Jomel Warrican Vice Captain Alick Athanaze, Campbell Chanderpaul, that's Tagenarine Chanderpaul. We wish it was Shiv. And Justin Greaves, Kavem Hodge, Shai, Tevin, Imlach, Brandon King, Johann, Layne, Anderson Phillip, Kemar Roach, Jayden Seals, and Ojay Sheets. That squad has come in for a lot of talking points, a lot of things, a lot of questions about the selections, a lot of controversy. In recent times, we have seen a number of West Indies squads that have been selected, and by and large, we agree with most of those selections. This squad, though, calls for a lot of conversation. And I cannot be here long this morning, so I will not be able to deal with all of them. But I've selected a few that I would like to deal with. And as the typer said, Darren Sammy is admitting his mistake by recalling Kavem Hodge to the team. Yes, he should have never left off Kavem Hodge in the first place. The reason he gave then was that Kavem Hodge, averaging 25 in his last 11 match, is not up to standard. Is not what he desires. That's a fair point, because none of us desire or accept that our West Indies batsmen averaging 25 are good enough. None of us can accept that. And for Darren Sammy to say that he doesn't accept batsmen who are averaging 25 runs in their last 11 match, on the face of it, that is an acceptable argument. But we are talking about the West Indies cricket team, where at the time he selected that team, Kavem Hodge average of 25 plus in his last 11 matches was greater than the man who is chosen to captain the team in his last 11 matches. In fact, Kavem Hodge average in his last 11 matches, when you compare his average to Roston Chase's last 11 matches before he was named captain, was 10 runs greater than Roston Chase. When you compare Kavem Hodge 25 average to Shai average, who he recalled into the team, his 25 average was 10 runs greater than Shai in his last 11 matches. When you compare Mikel Louis average, it was worse than Kavem Hodge. When you compare Alick Athanaze average, who he later called to play in India, it was worse than Kavem Hodge. When you look at Craig Brathwaite average over the last 11 matches, who played in the first 2 tests against Australia, it was worse than Kavem Hodge. So what was Blunder Factory talking about when he decided that he's dropping Kavem Hodge because his average is 25? It was wrong and it should not have happened. And Blunder Factory admitted his mistake by selecting Kavem Hodge for the tour of New Zealand. Once again, a 25 average is mediocre. But the reason given for dropping Kavem Hodge cannot stand up to scrutiny, as we said then. And he going back for Kavem Hodge justified our position then that he should not have dropped him. In fact, since he dropped Kavem Hodge has scored his age only once. Only once. He has not scored an half century since, but Kavem Hodge have passed his age only once. And during that time, he have made 2 ducks. And that's another single figure score. 1 score of 30s in the 4 innings that he played since he have been dropped. But yet still, he recalled him. And that shows that he made a blunder, a big mistake. But even more frightening is the reason why he gave to recall Kavem Hodge. Yes, the reason Darren Sammy gave to recall Kavem Hodge is that they are going to New Zealand, and the pitches in New Zealand are bouncier, and Kavem Hodge is one of our best batsmen when it comes to playing the bouncing ball. Listen to the interview yourself if you think I'm telling a lie. Darren Sammy said the reason why, Blunder Factory said the reason why he dropped why he recalled Kavem Hodge is because the New Zealand wickets are bouncy and Kavem Hodge is one of our best batsmen playing the bouncy balls. I didn't know that it is easier to make runs on bouncy wickets than on flat wickets. But I have to move on because I have to get out of here very quickly. Now, the next one is Kemar Roach. I know that when I put up the poll on Thursday, that, and the last time I checked it, a number of you agree with the selection of Kemar Roach. I myself would have recalled Kemar Roach to the team. Had both Josephs had been fit, I would definitely not have included Kemar Roach. But the both Joseph not being fit, I would include Kemar Roach. I could say a few words about Ojay Shields, but maybe another time I will talk about whether that selection is justified or not. I would not have the time to touch Ojay Shields this morning. But I would definitely go on for Kemar Roach. What is interesting, though, is what Darren Sammy said when questioned why Roach was included. And when he was asked about what the director of cricket, Miles Bascom, said, because when Roach was dropped for the Australian series, Darren Sammy was asked, Miles Bascom was asked about it. And Miles Bascom said then, he said, we have moved on from Kemar Roach. The West Indies have moved on from Kemar Roach. That's why Miles Bascom said at the time. Now, on Thursday, when Darren Sammy was asked about this in the interview, Darren Sammy said, no, we have never moved on from Kemar Roach. So that's two ends of the spectrum. Here is the West Indies head coach saying that we have never moved on from Kemar Roach. While earlier, 2-3 months ago, maybe even 4 months in June, the director of cricket had said, we have moved on from Kemar Roach. What is going on between those two? Clearly, there's something going on between those two. Because Darren Sammy did not have to throw Miles Bascom under the bus like that. Because one of them is Layne. Who is Layne? And there must be a conflict between both of them for Darren Sammy to throw Miles Bascom under the bus. And I think that, did Miles Bascom speak out of terms? Or Darren Sammy is lying again because of another blunder for not including Roach in the squad against Australia? What is it? But my big concern is it. What convinced me that something is going on? Darren Sammy never had to answer the question like that. He never had. He could have said that, yes, we have moved on from Roach. And I'm not saying I'm not speaking here for Darren Sammy. I'm saying it in my own word. If I was asked that question as the head coach, I would have, I wouldn't throw my director under the bus my director of cricket under the bus unless there's something going on. So I would have probably said yes. At the time, we have moved on from Roach. But you know, sports is dynamic. We have seen in the past where persons retired and then become unretired, like Quinton de Kock. You know, so that's the nature of sport. If both Josephs were fit, we would not be calling upon Kemar Roach, but we are in an emergency situation now, and so we turn to the veteran. Because since Miles Bascom said that we have moved on from Roach, and since Darren Sammy dropped Roach against the Australian series, Roach in his last 5 first-class matches, in his last 8 innings that he bowled, he has only picked up 11 wickets. That's 1 wicket a match. Not even 2 wickets per inning, should say. Not even 2 wickets per innings. So he had done nothing to justify his game in the team, in the squad, to go to New Zealand. However, because of the challenges that we have, I would have selected him because of the Josephs being injured. And I think that instead of blunder factory, throwing the director of cricket under the bus, he should have said something along the line that I just said. He never had to say, we did not move on from Roach. Because there's a conflict there between the director of cricket and blunder factory. The next person I want to look at very quickly is Tagenarine Chanderpaul. Tagenarine Chanderpaul, I cannot understand the selection of Tagenarine Chanderpaul. He was one of those who was averaging in the teens in his last set of matches. And I, honestly, the age gap, the age difference between Craig Brathwaite and Tagenarine Chanderpaul is not that wide. It's very narrow, very narrow. Look at them, very narrow. I cannot see how Tagenarine Chanderpaul had more value to this team than Craig Brathwaite. I cannot see. It is not like Craig Brathwaite is even 3-4 years older than Tagenarine Chanderpaul, and you said, we are going with him because he's younger and he has a higher ceiling or anything like that. Tagenarine Chanderpaul cannot add more value to this West Indies team than what Craig Brathwaite can add. It's as simple as that. And Blunder Factory again made another mistake by including Tagenarine Chanderpaul ahead of Craig Brathwaite. The next one is Brandon King. Instead of admitting that the role that he claimed that he selected Brandon King for, because you can recall that when he was asked about the selection of Brandon King in the squad, he claimed then that he selected Brandon King for a specific role. Up to now, no one except him, or I don't even know if he knows, but he wants to make a good presentation, so he said that he selected him for a specific role. But none of us are aware of what that role was, or probably still is, or maybe it's not anymore. And so once again, Blunder Factory made another decision that backfires miserably. So instead of admitting it, here is what Blunder Factory said in the press conference. We are now looking at Brandon King as a opener for the West Indies test team. So he's all over the place. And that's why persons are saying that he's out of his depth. So that special role that he selected Brandon King for at first, that has now gone out of the window, and he's now looking at Brandon King as an opener. Brandon King as a test opener? You know, you recall at the beginning that I said that one of the characteristics of coaches is their confidence and the huge egos. You always believe that you can get it done. You always believe that you can get a player to perform better than the other coaches. You always believe that you can get the best out of the players, and you see something in that players that others don't see. I hope that Darren Sammy gets it right and that Brandon King becomes a good opener. If that materializes, I hope he gets it right, because if Brandon King becomes a successful opener, we in the West Indies will be very happy. But I'm telling you, the chance of Brandon King being successful as an opener in Test cricket is less than selling ice to Eskimos. Jomel Warrican. Axar Patel, a New Zealand left-arm orthodox spinner, got 10 wickets in an innings in India in a test match. 10. The very next match that New Zealand was playing at home in New Zealand, they dropped Axar Patel. 10 wickets in an innings, not in the match. I think he got 14 in the match. 10 wickets in an innings in India. Axar Patel, a left-arm orthodox spinner. And the very next match, New Zealand playing in New Zealand test match, Axar Patel was dropped because of the New Zealand conditions. We know that Daniel Vettori was a world-class left-arm orthodox spinner that always played for New Zealand, no matter what's the condition. But Jomel Warrican is nowhere near Vettori. His selection in the squad, I am not questioning his selection in the squad. There's some doubt about that. I can live with it. If he was not selected, I could have also lived with that. But when you make him vice captain for a tour of New Zealand, God forbid anything happens to a captain. He should not have been the captain, but he's a captain, so we wish him the best of luck. Can you imagine Roston Chase being unable to play at, say, Agley Oval or Bay Oval or Christchurch? Any one of those pitches. I'm sure Axar Patel not going to play in any one of those matches. But Warrican, who is a vice captain, will now automatically captain the team. So therefore, we have to give up the spot of one of our fast bowlers to the captain by default because he's the captain. And that's where I have the challenge. I know that from series to series, West Indies name vice captain. Why is it that you should name Jomel Warrican the next in line to be captain if something should go wrong with our captain as vice captain? Is it that you are going to look on the pitch on the morning of a match and said, Warrican, we know that you are the captain, because Chase can't play, but we really can't play you on that pitch because we have to play our fast bowlers because that pitch not going to help you any at all. So as I said, whether Warrican was selected for this tour or not, I do not have an issue with the selection. Would I have gone with him? No, I would not have selected him for this tour. I don't need to select a left-arm spinner to go to New Zealand to play unless you are absolutely world-class, But to name him vice-captain, making him an automatic selection if anything has gone wrong with the captain. Now, that's my little bit. As I said, I probably ramble along longer than I intended to, because I really need to get going. I'll take a few of your comments, reminding you that this morning's show is brought to you by M&M Chocolates. You can click the link in the video description or scan the QR code. You know, everyone loves a personal gift, especially one that is sweet enough to eat. So you can scan the QR code or click the link in the video description. When you do, use the code FIREWORK and get 20% discount on your M&M chocolates. So that's it. And also check out the Cricket Forum store link in the video description also. Please support the Cricket Forum store. When you do so, you are supporting our hurricane recovery and at the same time getting something for yourself. So good morning again, everyone. I will just go through a few of your comments very quickly. Probably some of these comments are here from Thursday. Patrick, good morning to you. Power of Poetry. Mr. Casanova, top of the morning. Firestar said, Ojay should have been in the team and Kevin Anderson should be in the team, and the team West Indies under 19 captain Joshua Dawn and the young fast bowler Jakeem Pollard should be in the team. Well, everyone is entitled to their opinion. I have no doubt that Ojay should be in the team, but of the list that you gave there, I would not have selected any of those in the team except Kavem Hodge. But again, just like how I entitled to my opinion and select my team, you are entitled to your opinion, and that is your team, and big up, respect. Hodge need to be, yes, there's no doubt. Darren Sammy should not be the test team manager. Well, he's not the manager though, he's a coach. We have a manager there, Roy Lewis, and that's another thing that we need to look at, you know. I have spoken about it before. There's a West Indies playing squad of 15 players. Yet the support staff is 11. Yet Cricket West Indies said that they don't have money to host the Super 50 that is going on now. They rightfully, I believe that I don't see the value that the West Indies Academy add to it, or the CCC. I do not see the value. So I do not have an issue with the CCC or the Academy not taking part in the tournament. That being said, though, the reason Cricket West Indies gave for cutting them is that they do not have enough money. They have a financial challenge. Yet still, they have a staff of 11 to support a playing team of 15. Personally, I don't see the need for a staff of 11. I could cut that staff right now to 6 or probably even 5. And the medical staff, all 3 of them should be fired. Because why are West Indies fast bowlers breaking down so often? Now, Jedediah Blades, the 2 Josephs, Roman Simmons, and yet still we have a medical staff, a full-time medical staff. They are not contracted from series to series. They are employee of the West Indies full-time. No, that's another here. We need to get other persons in that department. And we don't need to employ 3 persons full-time in that department. You can have consultant if there's an issue, but why do we need 3 persons in that department? You know, so 11 staff members to support a squad of 15. I can't understand that. You know, so I just never understand that. So he is the coach, but you know, Patrick Lambert, total agree that Hodge was given a rough deal in the first place. Yes, he was given a rough deal. Mr. Casanova is saying that some logic is so illogical at times, I got to scratch my head. You know, it's fascinating. You know that I was able to listen to the interview. At least they did not kick me out of the interview this time. I I choose not to ask a question because I never want to raise my hand and somebody realize that, you know, we made a mistake to let him in, you know, so let us kick him out. So I keep myself quiet, you know, like you hide at the back of the class to let nobody see you. So when I realized that they never kicked me out of the press conference, I sat quietly and I didn't raise my hand because I never want anyone to kick me out. But there are some questions I wanted to ask Darren Sammy. But naturally, they have not released the interview to me. I guess they have released it to other journalists, but they have not released it to me. So I hope other journalists would play that interview. And some of the things that Sammy said in that interview is bordering. It's bordering on illogics, as Mr. Casanova said. It's bordering, you know. You wonder what's going on. Ojay Shields' call up is very surprising. Yes, it's very surprising. And I'm not going to go into that in detail, but when you look around the region, he's probably, when it comes to pace, because you need pace. You don't need any more bowlers bowling at 126, 128. You need somebody who's going to bowl at mid 130s to high 130s. And there are a number of youngsters there who are even probably bowling 140, but in all honesty, Shields is probably hitting a line and length more than those, you know. And so we can understand the selection of Shields, but I don't have time to go in more detail this morning. Samuel Kane is saying King cannot play high-paced bowling, giving his opinion. Thank you very much. Mr. Brown is in... who is that? Adrian Payne is saying that I'm informed this morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing, Peter Talbot? You know, enough respect to you, Peter Talbot. I am suspecting that this is Peter Talbot from Ultimate Sports Ground. You know, big up to yourself, Peter Talbot. Enough respect, man. I hope that much damage was not done to the ground in Ultimate, and we really appreciate you. I didn't say Ajas Patel. I said Aksar Patel, Juna Davis. I said Aksar Patel. I never said Ajas Patel. I never said Aksar Patel. I said Ajas. If I said Aksar Patel, forgive me. I meant Ajas Patel. Yeah. So thank you for that correction, Juna Davis. But it's the New Zealand Patel I'm talking. So, you know, thank you for that. But, you know, thank you for that. What qualities Warrican to be vice captain? Well, you have to ask Darren Sammy, you know. I have to ask Darren Sammy. John P. Nicol, good to see you. Happy to know that you are here, man. And as I saw your comment, I becomes very nervous. Yes, because you agree with me. You said, I agree. Dr. Brown, I agree 100% with everything you said this morning. Excellent analyst. I must be nervous for the rest of the day. Lord, please, I'm asking you, Lord, cover me for the rest of the day, because John P. Nicol is agreeing with me, and that makes me absolutely nervous. Sammy play whoever he likes. When it works, he takes the credit. When he fails and get criticized, he gets arrogant. Yes, I want you to listen to that interview and hear what Sammy said about Reefer. Sammy said a back Reefer 100% is the hardest working person. You know, I need to do a show on that interview. Although that I don't have the recording, I will probably analyze some of the things. He said that he backs Raymond Reefer 100%, and the reason why Shafin Rutherford was doing so well in 2024 was because of the work that Raymond Reefer was doing with Rutherford. And so the obvious question is, has he stopped doing that work with Rutherford? Why he stopped performing? Well, you know, I just think that Blunder Factory is losing it more and more. And I want to say this. Director of Cricket, Miles Bascombe, was thrown under the bus by his subordinate. Because clearly, that comment by Darren Sammy was totally contradictory to what Miles Bascombe is saying. We are going to see who has the power in West Indies cricket. Because if I'm the director of cricket and Darren Sammy made that statement, he would not be in New Zealand right now. I'll fire him. My subordinates cannot throw me under the bus and still keep their job. But as we expected, Darren Sammy is more powerful than Miles Bascombe. We will see. We will see. Miles Bascombe has the authority, but Darren Sammy has the power. Take care of yourself, everyone. It was a pleasure. Have a wonderful day. And hopefully, I will back with you tomorrow morning because there's a lot about West Indies cricket that we didn't even touch the surface of this morning. Bye for now. Take care of yourself and your loved ones.